up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Door Bumper Clear, where we're all, or some of us are running on very little sleep. Some of us because they stayed up too late studying notes. Some of us because we were flying back. Forde, I don't know. You may be the most rested person here. But I am still Freddie Kraft, I think. Spotter for Bubba Wallace, spotter for Dean Thompson this week. Joining me as always, Thomas. How are you today?
Good morning. I feel good. I got a little toothache, but
you had an interesting remedy for your toothache. You were just telling us.
Yeah,
just drink a bottle of tequila.
not
and see
a
if
bottle. No.
Carson, I don't know where the hell Carson is today. Who knows? I forget where she took off to. But Stephanie Otey has joined us. I don't know what the hell you did to get thrown to the wolves like this. But I think you were here the other day in the studio, and then next thing you know, you're hosting one of the shows.
Yeah, I was like, okay, the NASCAR world has to learn. Okay, I just came in here so randomly. So the long story short was I was introduced to NASCAR just a year ago. I met Ross at a charity event for Folds of Honor. I jump into football season, and Denny becomes a diehard Ohio State fan, mainly because of Travis upstairs.
Of course.
And Charlie.
We are well aware.
Yeah, so they came along to a bunch of our games, and I took a gamble this off season, hoping to get some ESPN games, and then I needed to diversify my work, and that's when I was like, okay, interview your friends. And so it just kind of ripple effect. So it's been awesome. Everyone in this world has been very welcoming. I'm still learning, as you noted. I'm doing all my study work, but it's been fun, and it's been successful too. You've been part of that win streak too.
And you, I was going to say, you should be the most sought after interviewer in the series because everybody you interview wins.
Yes,
it's every week. Speaking of how the hell did you get here?
Yeah, really.
Mike Forde,
where did you come from?
How the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
How did I end up here right now?
That is the question. This is I know Lee DFA, I was catching up on episodes, sort of get my bearings, and surreal is maybe not the word I use. Completely bad crazy might be the word. When Mike Davis called me, I was like, wait, does anyone know? Did you ask anyone? Did you talk to anyone? Yeah, Freddie's all about it. All right.
So for the backstory that a lot of people may not realize, Mike is what is your official title?
Managing Director of Racing Communications for NASCAR.
So basically what that means is every time Mike listens to this show, he gets mad at me about something. And if I ever get in trouble, it's usually Mike that I hear from first with something stupid that I say.
We've been good this year. How many times?
There's probably been moments this year.
I think... So how this actually started is, so Steve O'Donnell, NASCAR president, was on the Dale Jr. Download last week. And after the interview, we went up to Mike Davis's office just to shoot the bull and catch up. We haven't seen each other. So it was myself, Amanda Ellis, who I think a lot of people know if you listen to Hauler Talk. Now the NASCAR podcast that I co-host, she's one of the co-hosts as well. And so she started talking. I did not bring this up. I did not bust chops here. And she started getting in on Mike on the conversation you had with Reddick about is the Daytona 500 as important as it used to be. And so she was doing it very Amanda, very nice, very good. And I was like, let me just step in a second. That was outrageous what he did.
So one time.
So I think this year was just one time.
Okay, well, you're good.
I was going to ask you. So, has there been one? I mean, obviously, we got called to the hauler one time. That was maybe the most, but
I had nothing to do with that one.
Oh, so okay, so that's even better then. Do you have a moment in the last few years that you think that sticks out where you really wanted to just punch me in the face or something like that?
Yeah.
Let me count the way. How long do we got?
Yeah. No. So as I've kind of gotten into this role and done this now. This is now wrapping up my 19th year in NASCAR. But in this particular role of sort of managing the competition comms, probably doing it now 6 years. I started off with the super thin skin. Everything else is fat, but the skin is super thin. And I've gotten thicker skin, and so I don't really let as much bother me. I remember I blew up in Mike 2 years ago, maybe, when I think you said the next gen car ruined super speedway racing. It's ruined short track racing, and now it's ruined road course racing. And so I got really upset about that.
Yeah, I did hear about that one. Somebody mentioned that one to me. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was probably not ideal.
Has all the tension been behind the doors, or have you guys done it? Like, have you been heated to each other's face?
We've texted back and forth times.
So the show's been better since Tommy NASCAR's been on. Right?
Now that we have two members of the NASCAR family here with us, Tommy France and Mike. But yeah, but the good news is, today we can kind of let it fly because you and Amanda are the only ones from NASCAR that ever listen to this show, so we can say whatever. Nobody's gonna know
that is
about
not
it.
true.
I think they'll listen to this one.
So I think that's when I was getting into it with Mike, and I kind of feel bad because like I've also made a rule because I made this mistake before of going to people's bosses and not to the direct person. That's just a chicken move. But so I was thinking about it. I felt bad, and I don't think your question to Reddick was out of line. I think it was probably oddly timed, but I think you were going off, conversation that maybe Junior was having, right? But so my point to Mike was like, if Reddick was like, nah, that's crazy. It's Daytona 500 is awesome. It's still the number one race. Like, I want to win that more than ever. I just don't think it would have been clipped and posted. I think. Yeah. So that's what I get on Mike a lot. I'm like, sometimes Dirty Mo trades on negativity to get engagement, and he argues with me on that one, and I'll argue back, and then we land in a good place. Like it didn't get, I wouldn't say get heated, but Amanda was like, all right, let's change the subject, and he's like, this is not arguing. I'm like, yeah, this is just sport.
Well, I tried to explain to those guys in the trailer sometimes when I'm in trouble, when I was in trouble, used to be in trouble. I'm like,
yesterday,
we all have opinions, right? And yeah, I know it's that big word up there that says NASCAR, but we all have opinions, and we should be able to speak our minds. And they're like, well, do it behind closed doors, it's better. Well, sometimes we try doing behind closed doors, and sometimes you don't listen. But I think what Freddie was trying to get at really is, and you're here, so we might as well ask you, with the Daytona 500, do you think we've gotten too content with it? Like, too relaxed of where we are, where the cars are? It's the Daytona 500. It's the biggest race of our lives. I mean, I've been lucky enough to win it. Every time I go through that tunnel, I get chills. It's the most greatest feeling in my racing career that I've had, But have we got too complacent of just saying it's a Daytona 500, we're going to go race every February? Should we look at things that make it even better? And I think that's what he was, Freddie's way, trying to get at, but what do you guys?
I was just trying to piss Mike off.
What do you guys? What do you guys think about that?
Well, what I think and what I think NASCAR thinks might not be totally in sync. Although I do think they feel this way as well. Is that I don't think any less promotion has gone around it. We have production days in January where we push it. We go up to New York City for a media tour. We had that DAP program I'm sure you guys have talked about, the driver ambassador program, where now we give drivers points and eventually financial gain to promote the sport and go out there and use their time to talk about NASCAR. And we're using that in January and early February. It's going to be nonstop. What I do believe, and I know you guys also agree, is that I think moving the Clash, while I think it's awesome at Bowman Gray, and I think it was awesome at LA, having NASCAR activity start the 2 Thursdays before the actual 500 was awesome and really was super important. And now, because everything got condensed, and the good and bad of COVID is we've learned efficiencies, and some would argue that we kind of over-indexed to the efficiency side versus the build-up side. And I would be one of those who argue that too. And I think Steve O'Donnell, I was talking with him about this, and I think he says this too, is like, man, I would love to get back where we have practice on Monday, or you can't have a new race on Saturday. You can't have the Bud Shootout or Sprint Unlimited or Busch Clash or whatever it was, the iteration it was. But is there something we can do instead, or build up the new Smyrna races, for instance, to be more of have a national series feel, so that Speed Weeks has that plural at the end of it as it does. So long way of answering is, I think you have a point, Tommy. I think there is the condensed nature of it now for financial efficiencies has made it less of a grandiose event. So hopefully maybe there's somewhere down the line we can do something about that. But I don't know if there's any plans just now. I know when I was talking to OD, he's like, yeah, I got to talk to John Probst about that and see if there's something in the works.
It would be nice. I don't know that I can do 2 more weeks in Daytona. I was those were long weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think in today's world, ever since COVID, I don't think the everyday race fan will do that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't even see that in traffic on Sundays when we're pulling in the racetrack, right? I mean, you used to have to leave 3-4 hours early to get to the racetrack for the gates to open. I mean, everybody's adjusted, right? The fans. So I don't necessarily agree that we have to stretch that week away. I really like the New Smyrna part of it. There's a lot of great race car drivers that race there during that week, and that can be more promoted in a NASCAR way for sure. But I do think we can't get complacent on the product on the track. We got to work on making the super speedway stuff a little bit better. Put some handling into play, and Reddick mentioned it after he thought about it that the summer races, the cars are harder to drive than the colder races, right? The February and the October Talladegas or whatever one we do, but we need to not just relax on that because that is the biggest stage in our sport, and I think we need to just keep working on it.
How did you end up in the position you're in today? Like, I know you come from the same place we do.
Coming here today?
No, not today. It's in this sport.
So I'm from New York as well. So I'm from Queens, and I worked so I went to Fordham University. Shout out that. And I was listening to Diffie again, and he's like, I think I got to wear a hat. That's kind of the rule. So
yeah, but it's all black. He wasn't even supporting anything.
I know, right? Exactly. No sponsors.
So many memos I did not get.
Worked on the newspaper there. My goal when I was when I was a kid, was to be a newspaper reporter, and I started working at the New York Post. So it was a kind of a cub reporter / agate clerk, which is box scores, horse racing results, things like that. And I was, long story, I'll try to make short, is I made a mistake for the second day in a row, and I was getting yelled at by my sports editor, Greg Gallo. And as I was getting yelled at, the editor-in-chief comes in and says, hey, why aren't we covering NASCAR? And the sports editor goes, well, I don't think there's a readership for it. And he goes, no, there absolutely is. Like, the ratings for NASCAR right now are great. And this was about 2002, 2003. And thinking back, I think it's because Rupert Murdoch owns the New York Post, and also just bought the rights. He owns Fox, just bought the rights to NASCAR, and it was like, why is my paper not covering NASCAR? Picked up the phone, busted some chops, and it just rolled downhill. And as he was like, all right, I'll look into it. And I said, I'm a big NASCAR fan, which I was. I'll do it. And I think he just was like, I don't want to think about this anymore.
You handle it.
And so I was the first time NASCAR ever was covered on site for the Post. I was at Pocono Raceway. Carl Edwards won, and met the right people, Herb Branham. And a job opened up, and he interviewed me, and I got the job, and the rest is history.
Here you are.
Yelling at Freddie.
Aside from me getting your blood pressure through the roof at times,
which I don't need help on. But.
Where are you at, like, during the races? Like, you were not there yesterday, right?
I was not in Vegas.
Yeah,
no.
But like during the race, when you're at the track, are you up in the tower with them?
So during the race itself, I'm in race control. Yeah, so that's somewhat new, about six year practice, and I think it's a game changer because of folks like yourself, but media. Gluck is posting on Twitter or X, and Bob Pockris is, and Pockris will have a question about a call we made, or a decision, or what we're going to do if it's a rain delay, so I'm able to be a fly on the wall, and so I'm listening to the broadcast. I have headphones that can listen to the broadcast, and also have conversations with everyone in the room. So if I see something bubbling up on social media, which is obviously going to be a story, or if their broadcast is talking about something, I can say, hey, Eldon Sawyer, hey, John Probst, hey, Brad Moran, this is happening. Can you give me some background? Usually I can hear what the decisions are, so I know I don't need to ask. But if there's something that's something I don't know, I can ask that question. So yes, I'm in race control, and then the media center during non-race activity.
I haven't seen you at the media center yet. I'll have to say hi. I've only been to a few races, but
You were in Charlotte, right?
I
I feel like I saw you in Charlotte.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was in Charlotte. I was having meetings all over. I met with John Dahl. He was great.
Oh, great. Yeah.
yeah.
John's the man. He's the one who's championed the podcast, Hauler Talk. Download it wherever you find your podcast.
Yeah. Mike started the podcast this year and he texted me immediately, like after the first couple episodes, and he's like, I don't know how you do this.
Oh, dude. Like, talking about, like, I thought I had thick skin, then I got to start a podcast. And, like, state-run media, I'd be getting North Korea gifts every time I tweeted, like, hey, listen. Like, absolutely not. This is
Yeah, good luck. I welcome the
he
camaraderie.
was. Yeah, I think that's. I feel like there was. I don't know if there was contention between us on your side. No. I
It doesn't
didn't
seem
either.
like there's any at all.
But I think we became friendly when I needed a shoulder to cry on when I started this podcast.
And the biggest thing for me, and I told Mike this, and I told when we got called to the hall, we told him that, and it was like I know that I'm saying stuff that's probably going to draw your ire in times, and it's always been for me. It's never been. I'm trying to say this outlandish thing to try to get attention. It was something that I actually believed. Listen, this sport has been my life. You know, my dad grew up racing. This is what I've done for my entire life, basically. And like, I just want it to be the best it could be. So if I have an opinion that I feel strongly about, I'm going to say it because like Tommy said, like we all want it to, we all want it to be great. And sometimes maybe my opinion isn't what the most popular thing in your world. But I welcome even after when we got called to the hauler the first time, I don't think I even knew who you were at that point. This was, I don't even know how long ago it was, but then we started texting a little bit back and forth then because it was like, just give us a chance to, give our side of it. Like, don't just go on one side of yours without with a hypothetical scenario from us, maybe. Like, so then I would text Mike after the race, like if we had questions or, all right, give me, what were you guys doing here? Why'd you make this call? Whatever. And that kind of opened the line of communications to, now where we're at, where like I said, like I've never had any animosity towards you. I don't know if you could say the same. And it's probably in the moment, maybe in the moment, maybe mad at each other, but it's like realize I think we're both just doing our job and we both feel strongly about it one way or the other.
Right. I think that's right. And Burton said that, when he was on your guys' show of like, we'll scream at each other and yell at each other and then it'll be cool because we all have our different passions. My job description is different than your job description and my viewpoint is different than your viewpoint. And I think that's the great part about this sport too. And so that's why sometimes I'm like, I got to take a deep breath, but sometimes I got my bosses saying, this is wrong. You got to fix this or, figure it out.
So what was the message after this past weekend on your side, your thought process of the race?
On the Las Vegas race?
Yeah.
From a NASCAR point, I think, I think you look at the storylines of the playoffs. It's you can, I know we'll probably get to it a little bit, but when you're thinking about formats, I think you have to admit that this playoff format has increased certainly storylines, increased drama, increased pressure, and like Byron was almost in tears, and then you have Denny just doing Denny things like. I made a joke when he won the pole after some court decision that went into effect of like, and when I was moderating, I said, we're here with our pole winner for the Southern 500, Denny Hamlin, because of course we are. He always seems to step up when the chips are stacked against him. So, and so Denny went in his 60th the way he did. Great finish. The restarts were awesome. I think it was a very good race. It wasn't Kansas good, but I thought it was very good.
I thought Kelly had a funny tweet last night where it was like, poor Forde got called up to do DBC and Denny won.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we have like a WWE style feud. That's long standing now.
Did that start around the time he got his podcast?
No, when did that start? He was, you know what? Probably.
God, they hate our opinions.
Dirty Mo gets itself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, and then he named it Actions Detrimental. And he eventually did get an Actions Detrimental.
Then he got a little 12-1 on the show. Did he? Oh, yeah. He got 25 points taken away, right?
For the Chastain thing at Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
If he didn't have a podcast, that probably wouldn't have happened.
I would.
Sure, he doesn't really give a fat rat's ass.
Well, let's get into the Vegas winner. Wins his 60th, tied with Kevin Harvick. But have you guys ever seen him that emotional? I talked to him just earlier in the week with everything he has on his plate. I think it was just a matter of time until the emotions came out.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned his dad in some interviews, and there's some stuff there that's driving him to really want to get this win. Now you saw that some of that emotion after the Kansas race, which I don't want to talk about anymore ever again. But yeah, I mean this win means a lot to him. It's 60 locks you into the Final Four, still chasing that elusive championship. So I think Mike, you kind of saw that come out in one moment there in victory lane.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate on how his dad's doing, but obviously that was probably the reason. So Denny's, I saw Ryan McGee, who has as good a pulse, ESPN.com reporter, as good a finger on the pulse of NASCAR and NASCAR history as anyone. And I think Denny has already clinched the spot of best never to win. And he mentioned that with yesterday's win, he clearly is now cemented that. And now we'll see what happens in Phoenix, because you don't want to bet against him, especially this year when he's taking a page out of the Michael Jordan handbook. His business partner of, all slights are taken personally, and he steps up and wins the big one. So
for sure. Tommy, the race itself, I thought it was a good race. Like Mike said earlier, it wasn't Kansas grid, but it was a good race. Still, you battled dirty air. Our car, I felt like, was really good, and we sped on pit road by the good old 50.01, and got marred in traffic, and that was really the end of our day. We couldn't recover from that. Couldn't fight for the lucky dog on restarts, just too deep in the pack. But I felt like the race was kind of was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay. It was really hard to pass, but the tire fall off was decent. We did notice during the pits, the pre-race pit stop road stuff, there were a lot of red boxes with a lot of teams, more than I've seen in a while. So I had a feeling there was going to be some speeding issues yesterday. We backed ours down one light just to be safe. But when you're trying to push and you're trying to do all you can do, sometimes you get in trouble. But all in our pre-race notes, our weekly notes, it was noted that place is known for speeding.
Yeah, I think we ran so you can obviously, the speed limit's 45 miles an hour. They give you a 5 mile an hour grace. So you could run up to 50. And I think, our practice roll, our hottest section was a 49.70 maybe, or 49.60. So we thought we were pretty good. That's usually kind of where we're at every week. And we, come down one time. Bubba's like, man, he's like, I know. He's like, the only thing was at one point I was, adjusting my brake adjust, bias to get in the box. And he's like, but I don't think I sped. He's like, I never really changed anything. And it's just, but like I said, it was damn 1,000 or 100th over. So, but yeah, the racing up front though seemed pretty good. And then at the end, obviously 2 tires kind of mixes everything up. Again, Logano goes up there and saves his day.
Did he though?
I don't even know where he ended up. He ended up in the top 10.
I think he was 8th, but did he save the day?
I mean, he gained.
Didn't get any point.
I think he gained.
Yeah,
I
but
think
he didn't
come
get any
in at a
stage
good
points,
spot.
right? He didn't really I think he gained 8 points because he was 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did a little bit.
It could be a big deal at some point. For something like I said, he was how many times we see this guy do this where he's running towards the tail end of the lead lap, or mid pack at best. Paul makes some crazy call at the end and kind of finds a way to get top 5s, top 10s, even wins at times.
Yeah, I was kind of laughing to myself while watching it, because how I watch a race is I root for storylines, just kind of like a media member. I don't root for a driver, and I root for my week to be easier. Like if we make an officiating decision that's a bad call, or there's
wait, what? What'd you just say?
Questionable call.
Very rare.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Oh, very rarely.
Very
Oh,
rare.
okay.
Very
all
rare.
right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mike.
And usually if we make a decision, it's right in the moment. It's
Yeah,
just,
of course.
Yeah, of course. Just like what we say here.
So Logano makes that call or Paul Wolf makes the call to do 2 tires, and he's now on the front row, and I'm like, here we go. And then the caution comes out immediately after, and it's a messy one, and I'm like, Logano's going to win, which I love Joey Logano. I don't understand the Joey Logano hate. It's really a bummer to me. But it exists. And then I'm like, I'm going to have to hear about the playoff format all week long yet again. And then as we'll talk about later, everyone starts losing their minds about how long the caution is taking to clean up. And I'm like, oh my God, like, they're right. Like, Joey Logano is going to win this, and it's just going to be the longest week ever because, of course, he did win. Like, this is exactly what happened.
Are you in the background going, Brad, you get ready to up, Brad?
Like, I'm like, how fast can I get to Las Vegas?
Brad, Elton, come on.
And I want to make clear, I'm not rooting against Joey Logano in that instance, but I'm like, this is part of the script. This is what's gonna. I mean, clearly.
And it's almost like it's almost like you can relate it to like sports betting almost, where you're like, if you got a bet and you just see it playing out, like how you're gonna lose this bet. Like if this, like it could be the most outlandish thing, but you're like, I know what's gonna happen. This guy's gonna run this kickoff back and burn me here, like
100%. That's why there's no such thing as Bookies Anonymous. A friend of mine used to say.
Oh man, that's it was something. But yeah, I mean, good call by them guys. It almost paid off for the 19 car. Like if the 5 and the 11 continue to race each other for a little bit, I think Denny, he was kind of getting away, and if he gets what Denny passed him with 4 or 5 to go, if it's that battle lasts a little bit longer, that you never know, he could sneak a win in there and lock himself in.
Well, I was ready to move on to spot on, but Tommy wants to get to Kyle Busch making a top 10.
New rule, man.
Yeah, you got to talk about him when he does
it's
it. You got to talk
because
to him.
I think he tried running the Legends race at the Bull Ring. I don't know how he did.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I seen pictures. Oh, we're going. I'm running last in the Cup race, and he's going to go run a Legends race. But man, I thought it was going to be the same issue yesterday. Green flag, he drops right back to where we were, and all he marched. He did a good job yesterday. The car was pretty good. He ended up, I think, 8th, right?
Yeah, he was in the top 10. He's been doing a very good job of saving Cheddar's money, from what I'm understanding. Colby shared this with us last night. Alex, what was it?
You have to be top 8 because I saw that everybody thought it was the tenders if it's top 10, but he nailed it, top 8, and you get the chips and queso. Yeah.
When is that? What night?
Well, I don't know. I will have to find out.
Must not be a very good promotion. Must not be happening much.
He's got to mention it in the post race.
I thought you were talking about the car chief last night.
I did too. When he first said it, I was.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about.
What did he have a bet with Cheddar?
Yeah, Cheddar. I'm like.
Do you think that he's starting to lose like that spark to keep going? Because like it's got to be so deflating doing this week after week.
That's a good question.
I can't imagine that he is. I mean, it's got to be weighing on him, especially somebody like we talk about here all the time, and Mike will attest to this too. Like he is by one of the most talented guys to ever strap in a race car in the history of our sport. Period. And it's like he didn't forget how to drive. You saw in Coda this year, he was up there contending for the win, and it's like since that race, their seasons took a nosedive. And this was the first race I can remember that was clean for him. Like I feel like every week it's practice, qualifying, the race. He's in the fence. He's spun out. Like they haven't had a clean race in so long that this one hopefully can just kind of jumpstart them to like, okay, the weight has been lifted a little bit. Now we can kind of go back to racing. But like you said, Tommy, the speed just has, and they're in a weird transition where the crew chief's stepping aside. Andy's coming into crew chief. So there's a change there to get through the rest of the year. But it was good to see him up front because, for as much we give him all over the years, like we need Kyle Busch running well for our sport.
In his personality, he's gotten a little quieter. Because remember, guys, I'm new here. I don't know.
You don't know Rowdy?
Yeah, I don't. This guy is quiet. I have interviewed him once, and he it was a little snappy with one question.
No.
Yeah, well, I know.
What'd you ask him? Do you remember?
So him and Bowman got into it, and I asked him about it, and he's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I look at him like, I'm new here, and you're trying to make me look bad. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
He's breaking
Most
in.
of the time in NASCAR, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, come on. And so then I go to Bowman right after, and he handled it with like personality, and I'm like, Kyle could have played up to it, but I'm wondering if it's because he's been struggling too much. Like,
no, that's been him.
That's
all.
Kyle.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Kyle. Yeah,
I feel like I get it out of them. I owe it.
No,
Really?
you didn't do anything wrong.
All right, well,
Yeah, I think Tommy's
I took an ego
right.
hit then.
I think he was warming you up. He has, I wasn't here for the Dale senior years, but
Okay.
I think it's kind of the same deal, right? Like he wants to test you, and so
but
that's probably,
Dale didn't do it. Dale did it different way.
What did he? Okay.
Oh yeah, the way he said things and the smirk and what he did, he kept the fans engaged to love him, right? When the other people have come into the sport and tried to copy it, the reflection was a completely different.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, just to close the loop, I like to what Freddie was saying. A good Kyle Busch is good for NASCAR. It makes all the difference in the world.
Good Kyle Busch, I guess, was good for NASCAR. Right now, we just have Kyle Busch.
No, we just got before we move on, I did want to mention the Xfinity race was phenomenal. Which the Xfinity races have always been phenomenal at that place.
Battle, man.
There was some post-race contact too.
Oh yeah, the battle between the three of them with Jesse. I just can laugh in the moment when I see Jesse and Connor racing the hell out of each other, Tommy, because the amount of time that those two spend together, like I can just imagine what's going on in their minds when they're out there battling for a win. But then you add a veteran like Eric in there, and it was a really good race. And I was surprised. I thought that once Connor got away on that last restart, he was going to kind of check out and be gone. And
he made one mistake. Yeah. One mistake. He didn't get to the bottom, and left the door open a little bit. But good race, man.
Yeah, man, it was a phenomenal race. And then afterwards, Steph, little fireworks. I know you mentioned that Jesse, and I didn't see what happened with Jesse and Sanchez. I know Sanchez is he's got a history of maybe
I think the past is kind of catching up to him. I mean, he finally had he's got pretty good race cars a lot, but he had a car that could definitely finish in the top 5 on Saturday. But again, it's how you go about it, man, right? It's how you when you get into these spots and you're not there much, you have to be getting those spots to earn respect just as much to try to win the race, right? It's I think a lot of drivers, they get into that spot and they want to knock everybody out of the way and win the race, and sometimes you need to get in there a couple times to earn that respect, right? You seen the respect that Armadillo, he races.
This is Eric Almirola, by the way.
Yeah, he races very hard. He races very hard, right? I mean, but Connor, Jesse, they all respect it because they all did it. He's been up there. They know what to expect. And when you got somebody new up there trying to do the same thing, they don't like it, right? Yeah. So I think it's going to take a couple more times for Nick to gain some respect, and I think it'll be fine. But his past definitely pissed Jesse off.
He's got a lot of speed, and we saw that in the trucks. We saw that. Now we're seeing it again in the Xfinity Series. I know spent on pit road, I think, and still got it. Drove back up to the front there. Corey Day was another one that was kind of hauling ass at the end of that race. Yeah. I know Corey's been getting for running into a lot of stuff, but at the end of that race, he was really, really strong. And I do have to give a shout out now that I don't know what's going on. I assume we've generated a large Kiwi fan base here because our anytime SVG wins, our views go through the roof. So I will mention that SVG was hauling ass in the beginning of that race yesterday, running the wall in 3 and 4. I don't know where he started, but he drove up into the top 10. He was running like 8th. I'm watching him. I watched one time. He just ripped the fence in 3 and 4, had a big run, went into 1, cleared the guy. And I looked, Josh Williams was standing next to me. I just looked at him. I was like, where the hell's he going this week? And he said as he cleared him, he said, man, that was awesome. It's so, I mean, we talked about it last week. If this guy can figure out how to run top 10 on ovals, it's going to be a problem for the rest of us.
Yeah, he's chugging along. All right, are we ready to get into spot on, spot off?
Let's do it.
All right, well, this was, speaking of Twitter, this is the number one topic everyone wanted to talk about. And it was mainly about Ty Dillon, the communication mishap. Who was miscommunicating? What exactly happened? So it was about 31 laps to go. Ty Dillon slowing down, getting into pit road, and then massive slam. Obviously, William Byron did not see him signal or anything. He said that he didn't hear anything. And then you see Ty saying that he told his spotter to tell William's spotter that, but he didn't get any signal. So do you think that Williams' frustration was warranted, or should he have been more aware of the cycle?
So before you go, I'm so excited for this conversation. This is, I think, in the NASCAR podcast power rankings on this discussion, Door Bumper Clear is P1. So can you, instead of just answering that question, just do a deep dive on how this all works, because I think it's fascinating of like what is the spotter's role when someone pits, and just everything that goes into it, because that was the one kind of like just thing that was hanging out there yesterday at the end of the race that no one really understood.
It's the perfect
how to
question
answer.
for it too.
So, in this moment, so I think one of two things happened here. And there's a lot of stuff that happens up there that, it happens quick. Like I know that the spotter, the 10, basically had a half a lap to communicate. They made the call to pit as he basically passed the start finish line.
For the record, Freddie, they were terrible.
They were awful. Yeah.
They were by far the slowest car out there at that time.
Yeah, by far. And they were like the first ones to pit every time, so they were usually ended up on the oldest tires, late in runs. So whatever, he gets the call to pit. Now, what happens in our world is we will try to run down to the guy. Like if it's me, if I'm spotting the 10, I will try to run down to the guy and let him know, hey, tap him on the shoulder. I'm pitting this time.
The leader or
whoever is behind us. It's usually whoever is behind you, or it may be the next two guys behind you, just to let them know.
So you could be talking to multiple people.
You could be talking to multiple people, but it's tough. Like where these two guys stood, they're very far apart on the roof. So I don't know that the spotter of the 10 had time to go down there. He may have. Sometimes you just kind of step back, get on a stool, and get up and wave and tell them. Like a lot of times you're like or you just have a guy hanging over the rail. Tom, you've seen this before, where you're hanging over the railing, waving your hand like that's a signal to pit. But sometimes you can, like if you're too separated, you can't see that. So you try to go down to the guy, and I think one of two things happened here. Either he didn't have time to go down there and was trying to wave from his spot, hoping that he would see him, and Brandon obviously never saw him. It's pretty obvious the 24 had no idea that the 10 was pitting. The other problem is it's possible that in this moment, we also communicate as a lap down car. Like if the leader's catching us or our lead lap car is catching us, I'll look at somebody and say, I am going to the top or I am going to the bottom. And it's all hand signals. We're not really talking because it's probably a distance between this. So there's very possible, like my hand signals, and I'm going to have to change these now, but my hand signals for pitting and I'm going to the bottom are the same. Like if I look down at somebody like this and I go like that means I'm pitting. I'm coming this time. And usually if they look, they're right behind me or whatever, they'll know, especially if we're bad off position. But it's possible that the spotter of the 10 did like pitting
because it wasn't time to pit yet.
No, he was
right.
pitting,
There was no. We weren't in a pit cycle.
Yeah. So when he does this, you hear the spotter of the 24 tell William that the 10's going to run the second or third lane. Because I think that maybe if he did see a hand signal saying down, he might have thought that he was going to give him the bottom. Like, you're going to get the bottom here. And that was the message that got relayed. I don't know that that's what happened, but it could have happened. Where that can be easily confused with I'm pitting or you're gonna you go to the bottom. And it's just like it says here, miscommunication is the best term for it, because I don't know. Obviously, nothing was done maliciously, and I kind of Ty would be the one I maybe put the most fault on, just because he didn't execute his entry very well. He ends up sliding off the bottom. Sometimes you see a guy
when you have a car that's handling that bad. It looks like that all the time. And you how many times you guys up there when a car is really slow and it's just all over the racetrack and it's all over? Well, sometimes you can't even slow it down well enough to get to pit road, And he was, I think at the time he was he was a second and a half off the pace.
Yeah, I just think that he got to the point there when I think he heard in his interview, like, he was almost relieved that took him out of the race because they were so bad. But, in that moment, like it happened the day before, that in that race with, we were running down the backstretch and Charles made the call to pit and Priest was right behind us. And I knew I didn't have time to get to Priest's guy. So I told Bubba, I'm like, you really have to let Priest know you're coming here, which they do in multiple ways. You see him wave out the window. You'll see him swerve back and forth down the back straightaway. That's kind of a signal to the guy behind you that I'm coming to pit road here. And I didn't see any of that out of Ty, so you can blame the spotter if you want, but a lot of it's on you as well. You got to execute. Like if William sees Ty slowing down on the white line,
I like to see when they told him to pit though.
They told Ty to pit about the start finish line.
Oh, the lap before.
Yeah,
oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, so they had about a lap, 3/4 of a lap to figure it out. But it was. Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate, but, I think Ty could have done a lot to help there and you know that these guys are behind you. Like what's going on around you, but I think Ty was probably just really frustrated at how his day was going. And
so going off that great question, the next question is, do you guys now this weekend get together and talk about that as spotters?
Yeah.
Like, do all you guys go, man, what do we need to do differently?
We talked about it on the roof yesterday because obviously the 24 spotter was pretty heated at the 10 spotter. And at the moment it's like, hey, let's everybody calm down. Let's we don't know what happened.
Can you go into details on what heated means?
I didn't hear it. I couldn't really hear it. There were kind of a few people down from me. I saw two of them get heated, yelling at each other. Then I saw somebody else, Tyler Green, kind of went in and diffused the situation and said, hey man, this guy, you don't know that he did anything wrong. I don't know what happened. I wish I knew that he went down there or didn't. And I like I said, I know there's probably 25 people between the two of them on the roof, so it's hard to get down there to them. There's bags, there's everywhere on the roof nawadays. So,
wires, cables, monitors.
The amount of monitors and iPads up there is driving me insane. But
so do you guys now will go through your council? Like, how does that?
So I mean, we won't. We have a group chat that we'll all talk about. But like I said, it's probably something that's very specific to that moment. Just a miscommunication between those two, where it was very obvious that the 24 did not know that the 10 was pitting, and we have to figure out what the spotter of the 10 could do better to let that know, or to let him know, or the driver of the 10, whoever really dropped the ball there, because obviously this changes a lot of things as far as the playoffs are concerned.
The way that drivers have a little tally for whoever does them wrong and they got to get them back. Do spotters have this too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
Crew chiefs,
everybody.
Owners,
Okay.
NASCAR,
PR people.
That is true. That is very true.
I just feel so bad for William, because if there's ever been the Mr. Nice Guy of the sport, it's William, and I hate that he's going to be behind the 8 ball now when he was having a fantastic day. I mean, they ran top 3, I think, every stage, and was going to probably run in the top 5 for the race, and now they go into Talladega of all places, behind the 8 ball.
Well, looking at the playoff picture, he's not alone in guys that dropped. Chase Elliott and Blaney both had tire issues. Chase Elliott with the penalty, tire rolling over to the adjacent pit stall. And then
adjacent is way too big a word for DBC.
What does that mean?
What the hell
Which
are you
pit
talking
stall
about?
is it?
It's kind of like a math
Is it the
term.
front? Is it the front one or the back
guys
one?
were the mathy guys.
Yeah, you're in the wrong room for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I don't even know. I couldn't even spell
Jason
that.
is it's
The
a synonym
armadillo
for
pit
next
stall.
to.
Yeah, the armadillo pit
I feel like that word is not that complex.
Listen,
It's like a $15
Although
word.
I will say, if
You
I'm
don't
in
know us
talking,
very
I won't say
well.
adjacent to my car. I went, okay, I gotcha. But Ryan Blaney, this is his second tire issue in 3 weeks. Penske should have been so strong going into this one. And do you think they're being too aggressive on air pressure, or what's going on, and how do they adjust this for Talladega?
Penske's been known to be on the aggressive side of air pressure. More so, I think, if you look on the 12 car, they don't take off very well in the beginning of a run, right? And it's for a reason. It's on purpose, right? It's just to get everybody on the end of the run. So that place is, because of the bumps, is really hard on the sidewall, and between air pressure and hitting the limiters and the shocks, it's a very rough track and very hard track to be taking chances of low air, but it's also speed, right? So, that I guess that it got to a point that might have been too low. He could have hit run over debris. I don't know. I know NASCAR inspects every tire, so we'll see if we hear anything in the garage.
Well, Logano was worried too. During the broadcast, they started talking about Logano. He was worried about having the same problem.
Yeah.
He came out of it. I guess it wasn't a problem, but
Yeah,
to
I
your
mean,
point
with
on Penske.
the thing is now, it's like all we've been talking about is Penske at Phoenix. Penske at Phoenix. Well, it's a lock,
Good point.
Right now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It might not even be a Penske in Phoenix.
Well, it's a lock at Phoenix, but you still got to get there.
Right,
right.
But everyone's always condemning Phoenix, right? We've all have, right? Well, the Penske car is going to dominate. Well, guess what? The playoffs have changed that. The point system has changed that.
Mike, do you think one of these 4 guys could still? Obviously, I mean, you got to think that Blaney. Not that I've ever gambled on anything in my life, but I would say Blaney's got to be the betting favorite probably for the next 2 races. Obviously very good at Talladega.
The championship odds changed.
He's won. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's won the last 2 Martinsville races, the fall Martinsville races. So if one of these guys is the guy that you're going to circle to come out of there to win a race, it's probably got to be Blaney, I would think.
I think so. I think with Blaney, I think that's why he didn't seem as despondent. Sorry, that was a big word too.
Jeez.
The media
Sad.
folks over here.
Alex, can you give me a dictionary, please?
So yeah, that's probably why he didn't
For media
seem as
training.
sad.
Give me a vowel, please.
As
Spelling bee.
as he could have been, because I think he felt super confident. And that's why,
But here's the thing, Mike. You look at the guys that are below the cut line, they're all going to, except for winning, right? They're all going to be doing the same things as Ryan, right? Getting stage points, doing the things that need to be done. Ryan's the furthest back.
So it's
right?
So you think it benefits him?
Nothing benefits Ryan Blaney right now.
But he doesn't have to worry about anything but winning.
He's got to win.
I understand that, but that's like win or nothing is now like, okay, it's like Byron's going to get stage points. Chase is going to get stage points. Logano's going to get stage points. Briscoe, Bell, Larson. Who's not going to get stage points?
Well, last year, Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell, they were all above the cut line going into the round of 8, and then
it's going to take a misfortune of one or two of these guys.
We're going to a place this week where, like, I think Ryan's in the worst spot. Obviously, I think he's kind of got to win because, to your point, Tommy, everybody's going to be chasing stage points. Yeah. But like with Talladega looming, 15 points can be erased in one turn. You know, so like I think Byron's okay. Like if he can race his way in still. Chase Elliott, they've got enough speed lately. They could race their way in still. Everybody obviously this is why this race is in this round, Mike. And I was kind of critical of it. I don't love that it's in this round, but you're gonna have to get through this race no matter what to get to the Final Four.
The guy that won yesterday was going to be the weakest going into Talladega. He has struggled there, and he has admitted that he has struggled on speedways in the last couple of years. Right? I know he's won the Daytona 500, but he's just not comfortable of waiting and passing people like he used to, right, at the end. But that guy who was going to be probably the weakest is now in. Yeah. So you got the rest of the 7 guys that they have to compete, man.
You wonder, hypothetically, because of what you just said, he probably doesn't have as much control of his own destiny, but you almost wonder, does he try, he knows that Penske's so good at Phoenix. Does he try to win even more? Like, I don't know if you try to win harder, but if he can keep Blaney and Logano out by winning Talladega, obviously that you would imagine that helps him. So that could be an interesting story too.
And I think he's more of a teammate to the other two now.
That too, yeah.
Right? So I think he's going to be helping them in the draft and doing the things that need to be done as teammates.
Yeah, for sure. And that's to your point, Mike. We saw that last week. Well, that was what the conversation was about last week was should he or should he not have passed Ross because it was the matter of taking Joey out, putting Joey in or taking him out. And, and for your side of this, we saw some notes yesterday about the radio communication stuff about points. And I did want to ask you about that because, obviously there's been talk of like, they don't want anything. They kind of said, we're definitely going to tighten up on this for the round of 8. Now, like, what does that look like for you guys? Like, I know, like, are you monitoring everybody's radio, or are you listening for key phrases? Like, I don't know. How do you guys police that up in the tower?
It's tricky. Policing it's almost the easy part. It's sort of deciphering what they're saying is the hard part because they've gotten kind of good on keywords, or they know that.
Some of them gotten good. Like the 48 saying "save your tires" coming to the checker last week was probably not executed very well.
Fair.
They've got to come up with better code words.
Fair. So what we do is we do have Brad Moran, the managing director of the Cup Series, has scanners. But what we really rely on is our offsite race control that we just started this year. So at the NASCAR production facility, which is right next to our R&D center, we have a fully built out, state-of-the-art, has millions of dollars of video monitoring. We have the data, the SMT data off the cars. We have all the radio channels, the in-car cameras, and everything. So, for instance, John Probst during the Charlotte race, radio, and we have a radio communication to the race control. And Scott Miller, former SVP of competition for NASCAR and former crew chief for Jeff Burton and others, he is kind of leads that project. So. We have a two-way monitoring or communication system there. So pros would click the button, say, "Hey, Scott, have the team monitoring." I think we did 48, 41 because 48 was following
Chastain. I think
Chastain,
it was like a couple
and
cars
then
back.
40,
I think they were both.
41 was following the 22.
Yeah.
Just to see if anything was happening. So they're monitoring back at home because as you know, race control is a little bit controlled chaos. There's a lot of people doing multiple different jobs, and you have to pay attention to lineup and penalties and pro trailer and whatever it is. So that's on the series director to monitor that stuff, and then we have a whole now
See how
team.
much they created?
Yeah,
God
and
almighty.
that's the thing.
Did you hear me curse on Channel 2 yesterday?
The thing for me is, and you can talk about this because we get this question a lot. Like, it's a weird thing because we had this, you used to call it the 100% rule or whatever, where you were supposed to give 100% effort all the time. But in some instances, like it's more beneficial to you and your team to not. We talked about it last week where, SVG comes out of the pits and he's saving tire for the restart, but he in turn lets Ross go for a position where now this is, obviously very beneficial to Ross, and, he's not pushing as hard as he could, but it's also very beneficial to his race because he's got good tires for the restart. Where does the line come in of, like, what is, in Denny, if say Lambert last week tells Denny, do not pass the one because we want to keep the 22 out, is the message. That would probably be very frowned upon, I would assume.
I would imagine that.
But that is also the best thing. If Denny thinks that's the best thing for the 11 team, like he is trying to do what's best for his team. Like how do we draw that line of, I know it's integrity. I know some we talk about gambling a lot. Some of the gambling stuff is kind of driving where you don't want the races to be manipulated at all. But at the same time, Denny is trying to do whatever he thinks is best in his best interest to win a championship, is keep the 22 out. How do you police that?
It's tough. So we got rid of the 100% rule this year. It was just too subjective. So I forget what the language is exactly now, but
Do the best you can.
yeah, it's
Use your big language.
yeah.
Please don't use
It's
anything.
adjacent to the 100% rule, where
That's adequate.
I think. So I think what it has to do with is really just you're still trying to get the best finish as you possibly can. I had a conversation with Pakras over the weekend on this topic, and it's the language isn't super black and white of in the event or in the championship, or you can argue what's best for your team in that case. So I think we view it as the event and that race. And so Brad Moran had a meeting with, as he always does, with the crew chiefs this weekend during pit selection. Sometimes he gives messages, sometimes it's just picking pits. But this time he did say, he kind of gave them the lay of the land on what we're looking for here. You didn't get any questions. Really what it comes down to is, as long as you're talking about your points position, you can talk all you want. If you're talking about other people's points position and where they are, that's where we're going to step in. So that's kind of the black and white and the line in the sand. That's as simple as we can look at it. But there are going to be, I think the Denny one is a good conversation of how we would look at that. It's a hypothetical, so we didn't really dig deep into it because he did pass him. But yeah, are we talking about the race? Are we talking about the championship? And then also you can have the argument of, like, is it better? Would you rather Chastain's was running better?
Yeah.
But 22 is very good at Phoenix.
I'm going to need you to make me a list of all the things I can't say, because I was talking with this about Bubba yesterday. Like I didn't mind getting that off week last year for Phoenix. So I got my. So if you can just give me a list.
Were you in Phoenix when that happened?
No,
You're not in the points.
No,
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
So you can't talk about anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to, because then I'll get Phoenix off again. I'll start my off season.
I think if you
were-
do that again, you're going to get more than Phoenix off.
I know you were suspended, but did you even appear? Did you even get on a plane?
No.
Did you know they were going to drop it before you go?
No. So I knew that I knew on Wednesday that I was getting suspended, and then Dave called, and we were gonna appeal, and then he said, I forget what the hell was going on exactly. He said, but we're not going to appeal. Do you mind if we don't appeal? And I was like, no, I'm just booking my flights now for wherever we're going this weekend. But no, so yeah, I didn't. But I was joking yesterday. But I said, I know we can get an easy week off here. Like, we start this off season early. I just got to find out what we can't say on the radio in Martinsville and do it again.
You can't say anything.
No, I'm not saying in Martinsville. I promise you. Everybody can go F themselves in that one.
Well, that wasn't the only wreck. We had another one. This was between teammates, with Christopher Bell wrecking Ty Gibbs from behind, spinning him out. That leads to an 11-car wreck. But instead of running them under or getting them on a red flag, they ran 8 laps on a yellow flag. So,
Yeah, Mike.
Can we riddle that
Sounds
one
like
out?
Mike was not pumped about this either.
Yeah, Mike.
He saw that. He knew this one was coming.
Well, that
What's
was
your
one of those
thought
where
process
I
on that?
was watching on Twitter and I saw everyone talking about it. So I think everyone on the radio that took 4 tires were like, "What is taking so long?" Everyone on 2 tires were like, "This is great.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's still dirty.
NASCAR's
out here.
nailing it, man. This is fantastic." I did. So Freddie texted me the rundown yesterday, and I did get a hold of Tim Berman, the race director, to see if it did take longer in his opinion, or was there a reason or anything like that. So it took 2 laps longer than we had hoped. There was no talk of a red flag. I guess I can get to that after. But so they were about to TB was about to open pit road, and they rated up from the pit road official that the 88 couldn't move and they needed to hook them. That took 2 laps to get the tow truck to pit road, hook them, and get them off pit road, and then they open it up. So we would hope that it was 6 laps. It was 8. Same thing happened the previous one, which was also 8 laps. The 24 went to pit road, needed a hook. So those 2 should have been 6. They became 8. At no point where a red flag was discussed.
So that's your goal? Like in a wreck, you no more than 6 laps. Is that what you guys shoot for?
Yeah, we don't want to burn laps, so as quick as possible. So, it depends when that caution happens. I think it also felt longer because it happened in turn 1, so that it was you almost look at it as like it was 9 laps because that whole first lap was a green flag lap because the leader took the green. So I think it depends when they pick up the car, when they can open pit road. We work with TV to make sure that they come back and can show the pit stops, things like that. So I think TV at that point was commercial free for the rest of the way. So I don't think there is a number we have in our minds of what it should be. I just know that one took 2 extra laps than we wanted.
And nobody notices that if there's 100 laps to go, but the problem was there's 24 to go, 23 to go when the wreck happens, and now you're burning. And
there were different strategies.
Yeah, and to Mike's point, like it's very biased on what's going on. Lambert came down to me because they were probably the first.
I
one
think
on
they should
floor,
call a race
and
now.
Lambert's like, "Why the hell are we red?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, call down there." And then
it's raining.
Yeah. And then, but I'm sure the 19 and the 22 were like, "Yeah, it's dirty." Over here. We gotta hold on, drop that 88 on pit road.
There's debris in turn 4. Oh yeah,
we've definitely. I think we've all been in that position where you're leading late up at Indy. We're leading and it starts raining, and I'm like, it's not raining. Like because we don't want to yellow. We got a big lead. And they're like, everybody's calling in rain. I'm like, it ain't raining. It's fine. It's raining its ass off behind me, but I'm like, nope, that's good. Just keep going. But yeah, so everything's off. And you hear it all the time. And I used to love Hoots for this, and Berman does it a little bit now. You would have the lucky dog, whoever was in the lucky dog spot would be calling in, "There's debris in 3," and Hoots would just be like, "Yeah, I bet." So it would always be funny. So you're always going to be about yourself, and obviously you don't want to see that happen. But like what you said, Mike, was I noticed like we were talking. Bubba was asking about. He's like, "Why the hell isn't pit road open yet?" And I was like, "They're hooking up the 88 right now, so it was definitely delayed a couple laps." But
do you talk to Sacco? So John Sacco, official up there. Do you ask that question? Like, would Lambert talk to him, or Sacco says?
Lambert would probably have gone to Sacco in that moment. Like, what the hell's going on? Why aren't we going red? And at that point, like, it's weird. Like, I feel like you should know, because if we don't go red immediately, we're not going to burn 4 or 5 laps and then go red. Like, it wasn't. I know that it was Tommy's fault. Tommy's oil was all over the track. But it was on the apron.
Well, what happened was there was oil where he wrecked, but they didn't notice till I don't think later on after they towed it that there was still oil coming out while they were towing it. So I did hear.
I heard somebody say that on the radio.
So I think that made the caution a little bit longer too, because then they had to clean that mess up.
Yeah, but like I said, it was on the apron. So like a lot of times you'll see it if.
Tim did say that.
The red flag will come out if we have to drive through something. Like if it's a big mess and there's oil on the racetrack and we'll go red. But 9 times out of 10, we'll go red before we ever get back to it. It's going to be a quick red flag. There's very rarely, I can't really imagine many times where we got, he's not going to go red once we realize we got to tow the 88 off after we've already run 5 laps under caution. Like it's not ideal, but it's what's going to happen in that situation, because you can't open pit road with a tow truck and the 88, running down there. So
especially
it was frustrating to burn laps there, but I don't know that there was really much you could do differently.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up spot on, spot off, you mentioned it earlier. Steve O'Donnell came in and talked on the Dale Jr. download. He said that he thinks the current playoff format potentially hurts drivers' star power. I wonder if that's just rewarding chaos over consistency, and even if it's sustainable.
Yeah. So if you're asking me that question, I think what Steve was saying was it's hard to have a Jimmy Johnson again when you have a one race championship. And so when you have someone, and we've seen it happen a number of times with, Kevin Harvick when he won 9 during the COVID year and then didn't make the championship 4. Kyle Larson last year, I think, had 5 or 6 wins and didn't make the championship 4. Or I forget if he did, but he didn't win the championship, obviously. Yeah. I don't think he actually made the championship.
Yeah, he
4.
wasn't.
He wasn't. Yeah, he didn't. So I think that's part of what he was saying, and I think that's fair. I think me personally, when we talk about the playoffs, I think everyone thinks NASCAR hates the 36. There's one person at least that is for 36 races. I am. I think, and that my mind has changed considerably. At the beginning of the year, I would have said, no, I think we need a playoff. After hearing a lot of discussions and arguments for it, I think my mind has changed. It changes every day because I think yesterday was way more interesting because of the playoffs. I think Charlotte was way more interesting because of the playoffs. So now maybe I've kind of swung the pendulum the other way. But
make up your mind, NASCAR.
I know.
Well, the in-season tournament spiced things up.
Well, that did too. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think where my head is at on the star power, if I think the 36 race season without playoffs would really, really help star power because there's 2 reasons. And I know, Freddie, you said you're not going to talk about playoff formats ever again. But
I'd like to, but it's unavoidable. I'm proud.
Yeah, I know. So like here's my thought is like if say it's William Byron leading the points every single week and he's running away with it, TV has to talk about William Byron every single week. So either I think one of 2 things are going to happen. One, you're like, this guy is a stud. I had no idea how awesome he was. Or you're like, screw this guy. I am so tired of hearing him. I now hate William Byron. But if emotion is
either way,
is fired up on you, that's great. And then 2, the winning in, I think, and the winner in advance, and OD talked about this a little bit too with the Daytona 500 winner. You talk about him winning the playoffs, but he just won the 500. That doesn't seem right. But he does think that winning. I think there are moves being made because of the winner advance, winning in, and talked about Blaney has done it 2 years in a row at Martinsville, and now he has to do it again, and that's awesome. But I look at what Blaney did at New Hampshire. Blaney wins at New Hampshire. TV doesn't have to talk about him now for 2 races. So our biggest star, top 5 for sure. Our numbers from NASCAR.com, I think he's number 1. Whenever Blaney wins, it gets the most traffic, and now he is a non-story for 2 races, which hurts his star power too. So
yeah, we talked about it down here, like the week, he wins New Hampshire and then wrecked in practice. And I'm like, that's a major story if he's not locked into the next round already, so, and the thing that I think hurts sometimes too is, we get to these cutoff races and the conversation isn't even about the guys that have been dominating all year. It's about the guys that's 12th in points. Look at this group that's battling for 12th in points or 8th in points. And I think that you take attention away from the guys that have been the top 3 or 4. The guys that have the Byrons, the Blaneys, the Dennys, Larson. The guys that have been kind of the fastest guys that are dominating all year. You're not talking about them because you're talking about look at this 2-point battle.
But hold on a second. Our issue. My biggest issue as a car owner back then is I had no firepower to go into a sponsor and say you were going to get TV time. Nothing. I didn't have any, because we were running 21st to 28th every week. No one was talked about. When the format was first set, it kind of gave us all, hey, we have a chance if we sneak in a win. Now we're going to get talked about. So, yeah, I mean, yes, Ryan Blaney. What happens if Ryan Blaney runs bad for 2-3 weeks? The TV's not going to talk about him anyway, right? If there was a 36 race playoff, right? If he's having a rough week, the camera,
I'm totally with you.
So
that's why it's such a hard decision.
You can't. It's a whole. It's a balancing act, right? No matter what we're going to do, people are going to get talked about or not in different situations during the race. I don't think any of that matters, to be honest with you. I think the biggest thing that people complain about is the guy that dominates the year, that is leading the points going into any playoff system that NASCAR creates, because I'm going to say NASCAR because it's not TV, right?
Nope.
You got yelled at for that.
Right?
Yeah, be
so
careful.
Don't ever say that.
the winner, if it's a 32 race championship and that's 4 races playoff, whatever, that guy, whoever wins, should be get the most points. Start with the most points, right? They shouldn't be back to 0 and okay. Thank you for us talking about you all year long. Now you have a 1 in 4 chance of winning instead of 40%.
I think that's probably going to happen. That was so. We got
breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think we talked about. I feel like I have. If I haven't, so there you go. There's your clip, Dirty Mo.
We're just gonna clip that too.
Yeah.
No
there is gonna be a
context.
change.
Where's your change? It's just
We said we're gonna get some out of here today.
Okay, I was gonna save this for Ask DBC, but I've been wanting to ask you this for the playoff format, and I know you don't want to talk about playoff format as much anymore. Okay, but obviously I come from the college football world, and I don't understand why we don't apply their. It's basically like an invitational, where like college football is the only sport where winning itself is not enough. And in the NASCAR playoff system, you win and you get in. And I was talking to everyone earlier, the Austin Dillon example from last season, where you're not winning the race and then you pull a move at the end. NASCAR rightfully removed his playoff spot, but he still got that win. My case is that in college football, you have a whole committee, like you're part of that one. And they look at each race because not all wins are created equal. And so to your point about the consistency, if someone wrecks, they're running well and then they wreck, that won't hurt them as much as getting a really solid win. When the committee has a system for it, but like wins matter more than losses. So a loss like that, like some guys had yesterday, it won't derail you, but you got to win the races and do it in a favorable manner. So just that one-off guy won't earn his spot in. Like you gotta have a full season.
Yeah, and I think and Denny has talked about this because he's part of the playoff committee too, and I think you guys have talked this, but we tried to get as many voices from each side of the spectrum of no playoffs, kind of different version of the playoffs, love the current format. So Denny was, anti the current format, obviously. I'd be interested to see how he feels now, or if he wins the championship this year. But that was one of his points. He said he had a horrible Bristol, and it did not matter at all. Like he didn't care that he had a horrible, because to your point, like the points reset, and so there was like him running horribly did not matter at all. So that's one of the things we're talking about too. Of hey, like should we not have a reset and just pick up where you left off in the rounds? And I think that's probably something.
I wish that was the case.
I mean,
it's basically like an invitational.
I mean, people forget what everybody shows up to win every week. Right? Mm-hmm. There's no like, do you like stop a little bit of focus because now the 11 team's going to like put everything into that 11 car for Phoenix? The 11 Phoenix car. Or are they going to still work on Talladega as much? That's.
I think it's all.
It did seem like the 22 kind of did that last year.
Yeah, we always say, like I've said for years on here, like the 3 biggest races of the year are Daytona 500, Phoenix.
Not if you listen to DBC.
I think he was super focused on Vegas.
It's still more important than the other ones. It just wasn't as important as it used to be.
Yeah.
He had
Hey, you set that tone right there. That's your fault, Mike.
But and then the 3rd biggest race of the year, I think, is Las Vegas, because now you have 3 weeks essentially to prepare for one race, where everybody. It's the same as like I hate to use football analogies because everybody wants to freak out about it, but
I don't even know anything about college playoffs.
If you just say, all right, the Giants, you're going to go and you get to play the Eagles in 3 weeks in the Super Bowl. The Eagles got to go play all these other teams to get ready. You can just sit there for 3 weeks and get ready and watch every damn bit of film on the Eagles. It's such an advantage to have that time to where you can just divert all your attention to one race and we've seen in years past. Last year was a perfect example. Like the guy that wins Vegas goes to win Phoenix.
I think Denny planned this. I talked to him before the Roval. I think that he had, because he said it even after the race, that Vegas was the one he needed to get past because it's a question mark for Martinsville and Talladega. I think to your guys' point, 100%, it's all Arizona. He even said he's got a busy week. So, it's all in on Arizona.
I think so.
I think he's getting it this year.
Tommy, I'm sorry to extend this conversation, but I think I would really like Chris Gale to be a bigger story. I think he seemed to really improve that 11. And on this topic of what he can do the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be all on Chris, I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to watch. And you think about it going back, early season, off season, like Denny wasn't thrilled about that. And it had nothing to do with Gale, I don't think. I think he just felt like he built up a really good relationship with Gabe Hart, and he felt he was on the verge of a championship. Like, as a former crew chief, like, how impressed? Like, am I overstating that? What Chris Gale has done this year with that 11 team seems bananas to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in that system a long time, so I think it was a very comfortable move. I think what really steps out in my mind is there's 3 Gibbs cars in the top 4 right now. So Gabe Hart moved, focus on the whole company as a whole. So I think, again, that's kind of like a Joe Gibbs move, right? Well, here's what we're going to do to make our whole team better. Well, today it's showing. Right?
Yeah.
Those 2 changes have gotten these teams in the top 3 right now. So I think overall, A1, A+, Joe Gibbs, right?
Yeah.
Of a change.
Absolutely. And you saw that video a few weeks ago after I forget what race it was, where Gabe Hart said, I'm sitting in the champion is in this room. I just don't know what number's on the door. It seemed like a company-wide meeting. And there you go.
Gabe Hart's a great we've been trying to get him on this show, man, because we're going to have some fun when he's on the show, because
I need him to change his Monday schedule around.
Yeah, we need it. Can we work on that? But
he has opinions. You might be getting a text after that one.
Yeah, he's great. He's great because he just knows, man. I mean, he's smart.
He really is.
Smart. And I think that move is a key move for the whole organization right now.
Hey, it's Dale Jr., and for the latest DBC gear, we need you to go to shop.dirtymomedia.com. We've got plenty of options, and we're adding new stuff all the time. Shop.dirtymomedia.com.
All right, well, I think it's time for reaction. I can't say it without adding a little accent. Reaction theater. Have you guys ever done that?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
No, we have not.
Oh, okay. Well, now you're going to have to do
now I'm
it.
going to do it every week.
Reaction theater.
I don't think
you have to do it with an accent.
I don't know if Carson's going to be capable of that, but we'll see.
You guys as fans can call in and voice those opinions. Let's hear what they had to say this week.
Alex, what do we get?
We got some good ones this week.
Oh, good.
I'm saying you're playing NASCAR 25, and this game's pretty realistic. TJ Major says clear, I go clear up, and there's a car there, and I crash.
Don't worry, it happens to Brad all the time. You got something in common.
Well, I'll be damn. Old Dennis Hamlin got number 60, boy. It's even better. Rowdy Nation, top 10 finish. So that's good enough as a win, so we're getting laid tonight. And you Blaney fans, go ahead and get your toaster ready. We'll see y'all at Daytona next week, boys.
These are some great accents.
Right, yeah.
Yo, Freddie Kraft, get a hold of all your spotters up there. Get them to tell the guy, hey, he's pitting down low. Hey, slow up a little bit. Dang, what's wrong with you, Freddie?
That was my fault. The poor guy was standing a couple to my right, and I
could have helped, Freddie.
Yeah, I should have went down there. If he would have told me that they were pitting, I would have went and told Brandon, but he didn't mention it to me.
Let's go. Mr. Dennis James Hamlin gets win number 60, and I get to 69 my wife.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
Did we ever talk about that?
Our fan base is I didn't realize how much sex was involved in NASCAR. Like, I didn't realize how many relationships were directly as affected by the results of these races as there are on Reaction Theater. I don't know. Well, growing up, I didn't have before I got into cup racing, I should have gotten a better plan with Meg. I should have picked a better driver or something. I need a favorite driver. If I could have realized that if you get laid, if your driver wins races, I would have picked different drivers.
All right, here's my last one.
Big House.
Oh God, we're back at Big House.
Tommy walks in from a race up north. Flow racing showed there was some back and forth. Fire suits ruffled, tempers they did flare. Now Tommy just wants a peace and zen. Couple of drinks, yeah, with his friends. Someone calls him Tommy France, the fight was on from there. Never know what's gonna happen here, but it usually starts with a beer. Your wife is calling in, it's well past time to go home. Not sure how much we drank, but it was a lot. Of course I'll do a Jaeger shot. Tommy's missing, whereabouts unknown. Big Al's. Carson, she just
Oh, still going.
wants to stay.
We're still going.
Cause there's a line of DBC fans there trying to be her Dave. Big Al's.
Do you
good,
guys
man.
typically
This
get
guy- yeah,
sing-alongs?
This is a repeat of last week. I got one about me from Big Al's last week, so we're gonna start charging Big Al's for
That
at
those
least
are
get
like
us some free
highly
drinks.
produced.
Yeah, we have had a string of very talented callers call in with songs, and we had one guy, he actually got a job here for a little while. He was putting raps together every Sunday night and calling in before we did the podcast on Monday mornings that were unbelievably raw. I don't know where he disappeared to, but if you're still
You
out
have
there,
that type of in your
Tyler.
podcast?
We do not.
Yeah,
No.
okay, that's what I thought.
We don't have the word, let alone that.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and saying open up the call lines for the NASCAR podcast.
yeah,
Probably,
yeah.
God.
probably a bad idea.
Do you have a number we can call out? If you guys want to leave an audio
Why don't we
message.
have a couple of callers call in on their about their
Wait,
stuff?
we should. Yeah, we could do a little prank call
Based
for
on
you.
the calls, I don't think you want that.
If it's a sing along, you'll know where it
So we
came
gotta
from.
go-
All of us, Dale Jr. called into the trailer.
All right, well, the right number to call is 704-802-9572. Open 24/7. We'll play the best ones each week on the show. They clearly love the sing-alongs. I think those ones are a hit.
Those are always the hits.
And anything sexual for Freddie.
Not for me. It's just I don't know what's going on this year. Like it was never like this before. It started in Daytona with the guy getting a foot job about Byron, and we have just gone off the rails every week. It's getting worse.
I can't say
Well,
I've ever
it's-
been on a
it's-
show that's
it's-
mentioned.
It's Kyle Busch is what started it.
Well, no, it was Byron. It was the first call,
Yeah.
and then Kyle came on the show. And when Kyle was on the show, 27 calls came in that said their love lives were directly affected by Kyle's results, and then
That is
it has
interesting.
gone
I've
down
never
a
heard of
slippery
that.
slope since then to where we are now using numbers. I thought 6'7" was the popular one, but I guess 6'9" is now going to be the one. I know we killed Axe DBC with the spotter communication, but I did want to ask Mike because Jordan talked about this last night on their show, and after we can't talk about it, we'll cut it out. Talking about the potential of the Dover All-Star race maybe being a run with your brung type of race, or maybe I've heard some crazy things coming out of there. But is there anything you can talk about with the All-Star race for next year?
I think he was probably referring to what O'Donnell said on Dale Jr. We're trying to kind of make it bigger. Obviously, when it was announced that Dover was the All-Star race, there was a lot of consternation around that, and understandably because it was Charlotte, and then I guess Texas was kind of like, well, that's a weird place. And then North Wilkesboro, everyone loved. Seemingly, talking to the folks at SM, the ticket sales right now for Dover renewals are really good. So I think people are kind of embracing it. But one of the things he said on the download was, we offered the teams to run what you brung to a point for this year, but it was a little bit short notice. And so I think if we want to relook at that idea, now's the time to do it. Say, all right, hey, like you now have 5, 6, 7 months to think about it, and like, can we do this? I think OD admitted that it was too short notice of a call, so he didn't want to put it all on the teams. But there's going to be some brainstorming around how to make this different and make it really feel like a special event.
You looking forward to that, Tommy? Are you looking forward to potentially opening some stuff up? And I mean, I don't know how, like.
And they're relying on us, sorry, NASCAR, to spend money, because now we're all going to have to spend money to figure out how to go fast, opening up the rules. So it changes stuff, right? It costs the teams money. It's like you're the ones that picked over as an all-star race. You're the ones that are doing this, but now we're going to have to spend the money to put on the event, right? To put on as good a show as we possibly can. So I don't know. It's like,
but what money are you going to be spending? Because like you can't really burn wind tunnel or sim time.
How do you know
Or
that?
Well, there's a cap on wind tunnel.
I know that, but how do you know now when we're going to have to spend some time on that instead of the other racing part of it, right? I mean, there's like,
would teams do that? They would
for possibility, yeah. I would say that, yeah. I would say there's a whole, like, you have to build a model for it to run and sim the correct way. You have to do something, right? So there's a process for all of it, right? You can't just say.
Would it be like CFD runs though, which is also capped?
Yeah.
So I'm asking, would teams do that for a non-points
There's
race?
teams that can do a lot of things behind the scenes. It's just going to cost money. I hate it. I know Goodyear is going to hopefully have a tire test there, which will make all the difference in the world for what we're going to do. It's going to make difference in the world how you guys are going to set up the stages, right? How the race is going to be played out.
Yeah.
Once you guys lay that out to all of us, then we can go to work on. Goodyear's going to be able to go to work on a tire. If it's going to be a hard one for 50 laps, softer one for 20 laps, real soft one for 10 laps.
Slick.
Rain tires. I heard one time the other day. I'm like, holy cow. So, we need to focus on. That's not cost the teams a lot of money, but let's put on a good show.
Yeah, I'm not saying that is 100% going to happen either. I think OD kind of tossed that out of like, if this is something we want to do.
You guys toss out a lot of all the time. Then we have to spend the money to go do it. It's common.
No. I'm not saying that he tossed it out as like, we're going to do this. It was a conversation starter from Dale saying, hey, let's, the Dover All-Star race, because he doesn't like it either. So that was one of the topics. He's like, and Dale brought up I'm not saying, and OD wasn't saying that this is what we're doing and teams have to spend the money.
Yeah. Tell Tommy to stop. All of a sudden, Tommy France went away real fast there. I don't know if everybody.
He can quickly.
It's time for Show Hall of Fame.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Very good.
You were not anticipating that.
That was different.
We have Reaction Theater and Show Hall of Fame. You can dub that every time I'm not here.
I apologize to everybody's speakers in their trucks and vehicles
in my ear now.
That just came to me. I just like collapsed.
Thanks for letting us know.
You forgot about your tooth for a couple minutes, at least.
Now, not only my brain and my tooth hurt, my ear hurts.
Well, okay. I thought it would take away the pain. From
No, now I got 3 headaches.
Get another bottle of tequila.
I got news for you. You got more than 3 headaches, my friend.
All right. Well, each week we nominate someone, and the fans will vote on who gets inducted. Last week it was the Roval reversal.
Roval reversal. I don't even know what that was.
What the hell was that?
Is it probably just the Denny
backing up?
Yeah.
Ross everybody going across the line
finishing
backwards,
backwards. Yeah.
Oh, I think obviously, I think we got an obvious winner. The Ty Dillon Byron thing. My buddy Tapley, I thought he had a really good tweet yesterday about that. He's like, all you people that want to compare NASCAR to stick and ball sports, he's like, what we just watched was, whoever, Travis Kelce running in the end zone for the Eagles to Chiefs to beat the Eagles, and somebody from the Cleveland Browns just ran off the sideline and tackled him.
Yeah.
That's just how it's.
Yeah, that's Denny's.
That's good.
Denny says that it's a really good point. That's with the one race championship. His point is, if everyone brings up the undefeated Patriots team that beat that the Giants.
Yeah, high five on it.
That the Giants beat. But he's like, but that would be like Plexico Burress streaking down the sideline, then some of the Chargers coming out and tackling him.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, it's fair.
I'm lost.
What else? I had some other ones. Hold on. I don't know what I do with my notes here. I'm a mess.
What are we watching here?
This guy. I don't know what these two. I thought this was going to get bigger than it was. But this guy. So these two wreck. So they just go back and forth, running into each other.
Not a hook.
No, he's just.
No, his front tire's off the ground.
Yeah, because he's pushing him. Then he gets a little shot to the wheel here.
Oh, yeah.
Which is obviously, I don't know if you can pay attention, but this is on Flow. And if you want a Flow discount, I got it. Flowsports.link/doorbumperclear. You can sign up now, get 15% off your Flow account, which, they had a lot of good racing on there this week. This wreck here, though, was the one. This guy went for a tumble.
Oh, Lord. Wow. That was a Priest.
Yeah, that looks just like the Priest wreck from, this was, I think, a NASCAR Euro race, right, Mike? I don't know.
Belgium, it looks like.
I don't know the drive. I have the driver's name here. It'll be in the tweet. Giorgio Maggi, but luckily walked away. I mean, that was maybe worse than Priest's wreck. So that one I think definitely needs to be on there. I have a casino show from the weekend. That was pretty funny. I will not use the names to protect the innocent, but there was
Innocent or guilty?
Innocent. I felt very bad for this person. So I walk in the casino where I'm playing roulette with Joey Campbell, a couple of the guys from the 47 team, and a friend of mine, a former guest on this show, was at a table over, and I walk over to talk to them, and I'm talking to them, and as I'm talking to them, they're putting a chip on just 35 or 34, I think was the number every time, every roll, just number 34, number 34, number 34. So I'm talking to him. He's doing it every time. So we have our conversation. We leave. I go back over, and one of the other guys with me is like, "Oh, that's so and so," and I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna go talk to him," and I was like, "I don't ever go talk to him." Like, do you know him? Like, I don't know, like if you know him or not. So, whatever. So they go talk to him, and as I go back to playing, whatever. I look up and I said, "Oh." He hit, so I'm gonna go see him. So I walk over to see him. I'm like, "Hey, congratulations." He goes, "Yeah, I missed that roll because your buddy came over to talk to me."
man.
I was like, oh.
Man.
And then, of course, I had to tell. We have a very funny picture that obviously I'm not going to share, but it's. Our buddy took a picture because we're like, this guy's just over here bothering him, talking to him, so we're just busting his chops. So they tried to take a picture of them. And in the moment they took the picture is when the person realized that his number came out. So he's got his hands on his head as they're having a conversation. It was maybe the funniest thing from my weekend.
How much was he putting on 34?
$25.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty much.
Oh, Lord.
It was like $1,800 hit or something like that.
I was going to say, I'm like, I'll throw in the 35. It was $1.
That's a heartbreaker.
No, yeah, it was.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
I think the Smart Tour should be on the show.
For that wreck or just in general?
Lack of calling the wreck.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I saw it was the one that Luke ended up in it, right? I saw it was like off of 2.
Yeah, they never threw the caution, and everyone was battling they were 3 wide at the time, and
yeah, I didn't get the clip of that. We can get the clip if it's on Flow. I saw the clip this morning, so we'll be able to post that one. So put that Cars Tour one on there. It ended Luke's day, so we can throw that in there. Obviously, Dillon and Byron. It's going to win. You can pretty much put whatever else you want on there. You can actually just make that the 4 options like we did with the Xfinity race that one time. But yeah, for sure that might. And listen, we have yet to dethrone Chris Wright, but that one might take a run at him.
Yeah.
But remember to vote on your Show Hall of Fame Twitter poll on who you want to see to be inducted into the Show Hall of Fame.
Hey, I won DBC Picks.
Dang it.
Who the hell did I pick? Oh, Bell. What a pick by me.
Where are we?
Where Carson's buying dinner right now. Boy, we're probably going to McDonald's if that's going to be the case.
I know, poor thing. I gotta jump in.
We're going to Talladega.
We are going to Talladega, and Carson, aka Stephanie, you have first pick today.
Okay, well, we were discussing this. I wanted to take Briscoe, but unavailable. So I've been between Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski.
2 very good picks at this place.
Is this like a collaborative effort, folks?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. Because I need Carson to stay last, so she buys dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
Pick,
the odds aren't
LaJoy.
out yet.
If it's going to be if it's going to be an all group effort,
I'm gonna help her out. I think the favorite would be Logano, but like I don't know how. I don't want the recency bias of Penske to weigh in. But I bet he's gonna be the favorite.
Pick Zillage.
But he's also going to be ballsy with his points position in the
Would
playoffs.
you pick it? Pick something, please.
Brad Keselowski.
I like that pick, except for TJ spotting. So you're
Do
probably.
you guys think I made the right call?
Yes.
That's a good pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Good.
We got Thomas. You're next.
All right. I'm gonna pick Priest.
Priest.
Yep.
I mean, that's a good pick. The
Yeah,
guy
it is a
flips
good pick,
over
yeah.
every plate race.
Yeah.
Do you, Mike? I don't know. Do you want to partake? You're more than welcome to partake. Sometimes some people get a little strange with making picks, but
all good.
He's from Queens. He don't care.
he don't give a.
I'll go with Eric Jones.
Eric Jones is a very good pick at a plate race, especially lately. I will go with
you got everybody still,
buddy. I'm coming for you.
I'm taking a guess at who you're taking.
Who you got? Who do you think?
They're all 3. Okay, well, there's 3. I think you're going to take either Blaney, Busch, or Briscoe.
Nope. I am taking the guy that I think has been the most consistent plate racer.
Here we go.
Over the last few years is Austin Cindric. I think
It's a good point.
you know, he's
take Bubba.
I got Bubba. I'm using Bubba upcoming.
You only got 2 more. He's not Martinsville, you think? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
you're excited about Martinsville.
It's great there.
Yeah. So
You have a reason. There's something going on
I know.
in your head.
Honestly, you wouldn't know this, but I pick him every year for Martinsville. This little last Martinsville, and I win majority of the time. I mean, we've run top 5 the last 2 or 3 races there, so it's been it's a good place for us. And we've won truck races there, so it's one of our favorite tracks anyway.
Okay.
But Cindric, I need to go sweep here to catch the guest. Me and Tommy, we can't lose, but the biggest thing is we got to beat Carson so she buys dinner. So.
I feel good about it.
You do.
All right, weekend winners.
Weekend winners, Thomas.
Big race.
Obviously, we cover quickly. Obviously, shout out Denny, 60th win. Almirola, Armadillo, whatever you want to call him, wins Saturday night. Huddleston wins the ARCA race across the street Saturday or Friday. Or no, that might be Saturday. I don't remember what day it was. Friday night. What else you got?
Ronnie Silk dominates the modified tour race at Thompson. Matt Hirschman wins the Race of Champions at Thompson, his 10th.
I did not
Race
know
of
that race was
Champions.
at Thompson.
Yeah, they moved it.
Moved it a day, right?
Yeah, John McKennedy won the sprint race on Friday, the 50 lapper.
Little tense at the end of that race.
I'm not. I lost a little.
I didn't think so. When I got in the car, I had a bunch of tweets that were like, "This kid did him dirty."
He
dirty.
did.
He did, but it was not as bad as what I was seeing. He ran him up the racetrack. Well, if Burt should have gotten behind him and moved him at that point.
Burt passed him clean, got alongside him clean. That's not how you race, man. Sorry.
I mean, listen. Who's in victory lane?
He will be, but that will cost him.
I'm just saying.
That will cost him one.
Well, they were. I don't know. There were motors getting pulled out after the race was over.
I don't even know what happened. It's gonna be interesting drivers meeting on Friday.
Yeah, this week, right? You're going for a championship this week.
Luke's going for 2 championships. Yeah, the Smart Championship.
Is he running the late model?
And the Cars Championship.
Excellent. More winners. Ty Majeski wins the Winchester 400. Matt Williamson and Buzzy Chu's car wins Super Dirt Week.
That was his 4th one.
Yeah, I seen a big ass. I guess they named the trophy after Buzzy Ruderman.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. I saw a big picture of Matt with the trophy there. We have a lot of friends on that team. Obviously, Buzzy and Riverhead Raceway go way back. Buzzy, Brian, Spot, the crew chief over there. Is just those group of guys are crazy, and we love them for it. So that was good to see them win. The one race I didn't want to talk about, I still don't know who won race because the only video I saw was Keelan Harvick's, which we could put that in, Keelan looks like he's got that thing wrapped up and then it ends up tangled with a lap car. What'd you think about that?
Yeah, I just think he was expecting the lap car to go high and just he had how old's that kid, man? He's going to learn a lot, but I think the next time he just takes his time a little bit to see. He had enough. I think he had 2-3 second lead on the second place, or far enough that he could have just took maybe a split second to give the guy a chance and see what happened. But yeah,
Mike, did you see anybody win races anywhere this weekend that stood out to you, or that we haven't mentioned already anyway?
Don't believe so. No, I think.
How about there was a big weekend winner.
Giants.
Big Blue
baby.
beat the out of the
Big
Eagles.
Blue.
You guys in there got anything, Alex? I know.
Who won the sprint car race? I know. Brad Sweet won. No big deal.
Alex, anything?
Well, my Buckeyes won. If you guys want to eat
don't
these
care about
Buckeyes,
that.
Evan, you watching any
I
weird
brought
shit
them
this
in
week?
just for you. Peanut butter chocolate.
Whoever put all that money on 18 in the casino I was at this weekend was the big winner for me.
Really?
We won a lot of chips.
That was good. Yeah, there was a couple people that won some substantial amounts of money that may or may not have been picked in DBC picks this week.
Allegedly.
So, Tommy, you mentioned it. You're going racing this weekend. Jack's, I assume, running as well. Smart Tour finale. Luke's racing for championships. What's he got to do? Is it just heads up
Heads
now?
up. Yeah.
So he's got to be.
He's heads up with Ryan Newman and Paulie Hartwig. And then basically heads up in the late model race, when the pro late model race, he's got 1 point lead with Dennis Setz's team, the ownership team, going for the owners championship. Yeah.
Fun. So good luck to you guys. Where are you going? You're going there, or are you going to Talladega?
I'm going there. Yep, in War Room for Talladega.
Excellent. Steph, thank you very much for filling in
Thanks
on
for
very
having
short
me.
notice. What do you got going on this weekend?
I should be going to Tennessee, Alabama. I'll probably get that confirmed either tonight or tomorrow. It'll be a fun matchup. SEC's wide open. I think.
Where is that in? Is that in Alabama or Tennessee?
Yeah, it's in Alabama.
All
I
right.
do
do
love
double
Knoxville.
duty then. Talladega.
Oh
and,
gosh, you're right.
Oh Jesus! Now you
Oh!
she's definitely gonna do both.
Oh, win streak. Okay, who should I take?
Bubba, call him right now.
He won me one
You
though.
didn't pick him.
He did win me one
So
though.
you should have said Cindric.
I don't care that much about DBC picks. I can buy dinner.
I'm getting too nervous to do more interviews though because
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you're an open team now. You
gotta know when
you
you're
don't get
ahead.
any
No bonus
no
money.
bonus plan.
Where can obviously a lot of people maybe not know you. Where can they follow you? If they're into college football, we're gonna try to drag you more into this NASCAR world. So where can they see your content?
I've been pretty dragged in. Yeah, I'm covering college football with ESPN this year. I'll probably get out to some Ohio State games just because that's where my heart always is. But yeah, I've been doing some NASCAR. It's been a lot of fun. You can follow me at Steph Otey, Otey, not Otey.
I almost said Otey this morning. That's
Everyone
my
says
apologies.
it. I mean, I think it's kind of like a universal thing. But yeah.
You don't have a nickname based off your last name? We're gonna have to give it.
I'm the youngest of 4, so everybody would always call me Little Odie. But so I've had a show with college football about it was like Letterman row OT, like overtime. OT. That's a little
we'll
play,
have to
but
come up with a better one. Well, I'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, hopefully, if we ever need you, you're just a phone call away. I hope we didn't scare you off today, Tommy. I know he could be. The rest of us are saints.
I'll bring my dictionary next time.
Yes, just leave it on the table for me. Open up to whatever crazy word you're going to say.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you got going on this week? I'm sure you're not going to go to Talladega. You're not going to do anything fun. I mean, just
I'll be at the last 3 Talladega. Heading out there first thing on Friday morning.
And now we know that you're cheering against Joey Logano. So I mean,
I am. Oh Jesus! I was worried as those words were coming out of my mouth. I was like, man, this might get me in trouble.
No,
Now
I think
you know
everybody
you know how
knows.
we feel, right?
I know, right?
It's and you. I think we do it across all walks of life of everything. Like you just and some. It's with your mindset. You can imagine like the worst case scenario at times. Like it's like where's this going to go? That everything's going good. How could this blow up in our faces right here?
Which I guess is why I have a job. So
yeah, that's
it could be, I guess it
Maybe
could be
not
worse.
after today.
Anyway, Mike, thank you for joining us. I've never, ever in a million years thought that was ever going to happen, but I'm glad it did.
I appreciate it.
Steph, again, thank you for filling in. Saw a load of fans at the race this week. As always, we see him all the time in the garage. One guy told me he liked Tommy better than me, so I told him to F himself. But again, thank you guys for listening. Last week's numbers were crazy. You guys have really been showing up this year, and I really appreciate it. We will be back next week. We're out. Peace out.